Hi everybody, I'm Paige Abbott, registered psychologist in the province of Alberta. Today I obviously titled my video, Good, I didn't want that anyway. And what this is a sort of humorous way of looking at the antidote for FOMO, or fear of missing out. So that'll be our topic for today. Before I get going, I just wanted to provide a quick reminder that these videos are not a replacement for professional assessment and treatment. Rather, they are meant to support you in your self-development journey. So what I wanted to talk about today, because I hear so many people talk about FOMO, this fear of missing out, this fear of lost relationships, lost opportunity, and it leaves people very paralyzed in their life and in their decision making because they're so worried that they're going to make a wrong decision, quote unquote, that they are paralyzed to doing anything at all. And what's sort of humorous, even to the people I talk with as well as myself, is that a lot of the things they are feeling that kind of sadness about missing out on, they didn't even want to begin with. I can't tell you how many people I've talked to who they weren't invited to something, or they didn't get an offer or an opportunity. And when I asked them, did you want to go? Did you want that opportunity? They look at me and almost like they're saying a little secret. They say, no, I didn't actually want it anyway, but their brain has convinced them that they need this, or there's going to be some repercussions if they don't get it. So what's the path forward with this when the brain is saying there's a fear of missing out, yet the authentic self is saying, good, I didn't even want that anyway? Well, I think part of the antidote is actually in that word good, which connects us to the idea of gratitude. I saw a quote recently that I thought was very beautiful. It said that gratitude is not an action, it's a constant attitude. And I wanted to put that forward because I have seen it, and I do believe that when people can move forward in their lives with that, I know it sounds cheesy, that attitude of gratitude, it does really change their perspective and their perceptions of what's happening and not happening in their world. What's the impact of gratitude on this whole FOMO business? Well, it actually leaves you feeling happy, content, and settled with what you have, the decisions that you're making, the choices that you've engaged with, rather than sitting there and feeling like you're missing out on something that you should have done or should have been part of your life. So the gratitude helps to move you away from the shoulds, from the FOMO, and into that peace and that contentment with what is. What are some other tips for dealing with FOMO? Self-care. So extreme self-care, looking after yourself to the best of your ability, physically, emotionally, cognitively, relationally, spiritually, culturally, financially, in all different realms of health. The more that you can look after yourself, again, that just helps to give you a sense of empowerment in your own life and in your own world, and also focuses your attention on the here and now, on your main priorities, rather than getting caught in that analysis or that FOMO or those stories that the brain is putting out of what could have been or should have been different. So that attitude of gratitude, extreme self-care, and by extreme, I mean be vigilant about it. Don't compromise your needs and what you're needing to do to take care of yourself to cater to other people's needs or what you think they're looking for or want from you. So be vigilant, not to the point where you're being mean or harmful to other people, but to the point where you're loving yourself in a consistent way, rather than getting caught up in people-pleasing or ignoring your own needs and your own boundaries because you're worried about other people's thoughts or feelings. How else do we move away from FOMO? Honestly, I think it's just through challenging a lot of those stories and fantasies that the brain creates. I've put out that video about name the pain, and in that video I talk about the importance of naming to really identify and get to know that unhealthy part of the brain. And here again, that idea pops up, and you'll see that idea come through many of my videos because it's such an important part of health. To recognize that that FOMO belief probably isn't even coming from the authentic or the healthy part of you. It's coming from that unhealthy and unhelpful part of the brain. So acknowledging it, but in a thanks but no thanks sort of way, can really help people to acknowledge and then reconnect with their main priorities and what's going on right here, right now, rather than getting engaged with that fantasy and that story. Because that's all FOMO is. We have no idea that the grass would be greener on that other side, but it can be a very convincing story when our brain tries to tell us so. Instead, I think we need to come back to the here and the now and really just focus on our main priorities and be grateful for what we have, make the best choices that we can, but knowing that there's never going to be a perfect choice or a perfect action. And choices happen all the time. And with choice, we're always leaving other things behind, if you want to view it that way, in making a choice of what to eat, what products to use, what work to do, what relationships to be in. We're making these choices all the time. It's just sometimes the brain gets more attached to certain choices than others. But there's always that capability of human beings to pick and prioritize and say, okay, I'm going to be stepping aside from this while focusing my energy on this. That's just what we need to do to function and survive. Our energy is not limitless and cannot be spread out in thousands of different directions. So even this act of choosing what is going to be that next step of action for you, you could also view that as an act of self-care. FOMO is the opposite of self-care. It's harmful to self because it's putting us in a very unfair position, saying that we need to have energy to distribute to multiple different areas all at once, which is not kind, which is not compassionate, and which is also not realistic. So coming back to some of the fundamentals, I hope that you'll work on practicing that attitude of gratitude. You'll work on being very vigilant about your self-care and looking after yourself, and that you will continue to acknowledge and turn away from those unhelpful messages that the unhealthy part of your brain and the unhelpful part of your brain is throwing out at you. I've had many of these experiences myself, and I just chuckle at them where, I might feel this tinge of disappointment when, I didn't get that. No specific examples come to mind, but I didn't get that, or that didn't happen in the way that I was thinking it would. But when I really stop and evaluate, did I want that to happen? Did I want that to go in that direction? Did I want that person to contact me? Did I want to get together with them in the first place? Often the answer comes back to no. So then I kind of smile and laugh and say to myself, okay, I can just be grateful then that I got a gift, that this didn't actually happen, even though my brain might be telling me, oh, I feel rejected or abandoned, or it should have gone differently. So I hope that you'll be able to do the same. Learning how to kind of smile and laugh at this part of the brain is a very helpful tool and skill. Our brains do some pretty ridiculous things, and so it can be a really nice way to add health, add some lightness to the mix, if you can learn to separate it from yourself and just laugh at it for what it is. And I hope that you'll be able to enjoy and appreciate what you do have in your life and not be caught up on what you don't have. Thanks so much for watching and engaging with this video. I wish you all the best in your personal growth and self-development journey. Take care and bye for now.